Tommy Robinson, a national hero. Ladies and gentlemen, he found me in the end, and he really had a go at me on Twitter, but I really don't mind, I don't care, because actually I think our next speaker is a national hero. Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Robinson.
In their church. Oh. This is getting lower and lower. Some great speeches. Amy, I was so proud that you didn't falter. And taken away at Christmas. So I'll just start off by, I was proud of you. I thought it was brilliant. But I'll start off saying don't mess with our kids. Do not mess with our children. It's something that everybody can get behind and must get behind. What a beautiful symbol. Our children, our country, our future. I want to talk about LGBT indoctrination, but more indoctrination in primary schools. That's the issue I want to speak about. With LGBT, I want to focus on the T and see how many people are aware that in September, teachings in primary school will become compulsory. At the minute you can take your children out, you have been able to. Parents have been able to object. Come September, that right will be taken away from you. As a father, as an Englishman, I decide as a parent what's right for my children. That should never be taken away. In a Welsh school, they held a meeting about this forced indoctrination, about the fact that you will no longer be able to decide what's taught to your child. 90% of parents objected to the law that's coming. In Wales, they followed straight through anyway. Ignored the 90%. We know that so often. Ignore the majority. Ignore what they want. We're going to decide what we're pushing forward with. Now, the wake-up moment for me, and the moment that really shone a light on this for me, is how many people saw the protests of parents in Birmingham, Muslim parents, outside of schools. I'll be honest. I saw it, and I thought, actually, it fits with what I talk about. Is this homophobic Muslims following the teachings of Islam? It would have been a very easy point to push or to get behind. And I started watching and listening. I found out that a Muslim child come home from school, primary school. Remember that, primary school, under 11. I believe this little girl may have been 6 years old. Come home and told her mum and dad that she can be a boy. Now that was the issue that raised the problem for the Muslim parents. They then started looking at this program that was being taught to their children. Again, I would have been of the mindset, are these homophobic Muslims? Is this the reason? I looked at the school. I saw that the man who's running this education system within the school is homosexual. So then I investigate to see if there's been any previous complaints at the school by Muslim parents about having a gay man teach their children, which there hadn't. So this, from the parents, wasn't about a homosexual teaching their children. It wasn't really about homophobia, which I was automatically led by the media and pushed by politicians that these were extremist parents and they're bigots. That's what we've seen. That's what I saw. I then looked and listened a lot to what the parents were saying. And I stand here today, not as a political activist. I stand here to talk about this issue, which will surprise people, the issue I'm talking about. I talk about not as a political activist, as a father. I listened to those Muslim parents. I didn't see them as religious activists. I saw them as fathers, concerned parents with what was being taught to their children. The moment that really ingrained it for me was when I saw Ellie Barnes. Ellie Barnes is a government advisor, an award winner, an LGBT activist in Birmingham. This problem comes from Birmingham. It's rolled out from the city of Birmingham, which is why the Muslim parents have been on the front line of this issue in that city. She said previously, and we hear that this is about tolerance. That's what we hear. This is about this teaching of the children. We'll get on to what they're teaching, but we hear it's about tolerance. Ellie Barnes, and I'll quote her, "We must smash the heteronormativity in primary school children." That's someone with an agenda, their own agenda, and they want to push it on our children. Not her children, our children. Okay? Smash the heteronormativity. The normativity of a man being with a woman, which is normal. Okay? And they want to smash it. And this is like when I first woke up to the issues I'm known for talking about. The more I read, the more concerned I come. It's exactly the same with this issue. The more I've started looking and learning and seeing the agenda that's being pushed on primary school children, the more concerned I've come. Let me show you a video, and I could show you hours worth of these videos. Yeah? Let me show you a video of primary school nursery children.
Would like to do some of those funny little dances from Fortnite. Does anybody know any of the dances from Fortnite? Oh, then you are a credit to your community. But most of all, Michael likes to twerk. Now, does anybody in this room know how to twerk? All right, well, it's quite important to the story, so I will just give you a very quick demonstration. All you need to do is you just stand with your feet sort of shoulder width apart, like so. Okay, and I'll show you at the side, so you get a better view that way. And you crouch down into this sort of position here, so your bum's sticking out. Hope you're taking this all in. And then you just move your bum up and down like that, and that's twerking.
Now, for me, if a man wants to dress as a woman, you do that. Yeah, I have no problem with it. In fact, on our Day for Freedom event, we had a drag artist come out because it's about freedom. Okay? If a man wishes to dress as a woman and walk down the street, I support your freedom to do so. Okay? What I don't support, and what we cannot support as a country, is this to primary school children. Okay? And we'll get on to why. The reason why. 10 years ago, there used to be 2 referrals a week for gender dysphoria. I hope I've said that right. I have many problems with it. There used to be 2 referrals a week. There's now 50 a week. Okay? The media celebrate any dysphoria within children, which 50% of the children end up having autism. We have the Tavistock Foundation is the one organisation which children are sent to when they have gender dysphoria. They've had 35 resignations in the last 3 years from experts, medical experts, who are standing against what is being forced. Many of the statements people have made when they've resigned is, we don't feel we can talk about this because of the trans lobby, who then attack them. People feel silenced, that they cannot speak about this issue. Now, where have we heard that before? Where have we seen that before? We've seen social services, police leaders, everyone whose job it is to protect children, stand by and allow industrialised rape of a generation of children because they were scared to talk about the issues. They were scared to talk about the issues for the same reason that now medical experts are scared to address these issues. That is because many organisations and groups who are funded attack them, destroy them, deplatform them, slander them. Let me read now. So, medical professionals are being silenced on this issue. That's why I want to talk about it. That's why I believe we have to talk about it. There is a Muslim gentleman in Birmingham who faces prison for taking his child out of school because he stands against this indoctrination of his child. Okay? Remember, this is becoming compulsory. I believe he's in court on the 30th of March. We have to stand with that man. The British public must stand with that parent. It is his right to decide, and not, and again, I'm going to be called transphobic, hateful, bigoted, homophobic. I will weather that storm because I'm standing up as a parent and I'm standing up for what's right. It's morally right, it's righteous. Let me read you now some primary school books. And this is where the confusion is coming into young children. One book, Mr. Seahorse. Mr. Seahorse, a stunning picture book from Eric Carle about Mr. Seahorse and other male mothers. Male mothers. Another book, Jacob's New Dress. But Jacob wants to wear a dress to school. This is confusion of primary school children. Another book, Billy's New Frock. Billy wakes up to find that he has turned into a girl. Another book, I Am Jazz. This confused her family until they took her to a doctor who said that Jazz was transgender and she was born that way. These books, and in fact, I hate to do this, but I will do it. I'll quote the Guardian newspaper. Another book, and my issue on this is they're primary school children, okay? You're talking, some of the children now being referred to these gender dysphoria are 3 years old. Sargon said to me earlier, my son when he was 3 thought he was a fire engine, okay? You're now sending them for gender dysphoria appointments, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, 13%. We've had 10,000 children now. And are we going to ignore it and be silenced? We've seen what happened to a generation of our daughters already. This is child abuse. My name is Kit and I'm 12 years old. This is from another book for primary school children. My name is Kit and I'm 12 years old. I live in a house with my mum and dad and our dog Pickle. When I was born, the doctors told my mum and dad that they had a baby girl. And so for the first few years of my life, that's how my parents raised me. This is called being assigned female at birth. I wasn't ever very happy that way. These are the opening lines of a new book called Can I Tell You About Gender Diversity, which is being introduced into primary schools. You wonder why you are confusing our children. We are sitting on a trans time bomb of confused young children growing up. And when we talk about, I've spoke about the way that people don't feel free to speak about this. I've watched as the Muslim community, the more I've looked into it, they've been silenced in Birmingham. They've been silenced, they've been stigmatised, they've been slandered as extremists. I've seen the local politicians condemn them. Their parents who have fears and worries about what's being taught to their children. The message I'd like to give about this organisation and about activism to the British establishment. Do you know what's so crazy? This is all happening under a Conservative government. Not under Jeremy Corbyn's Labour Party, under a Conservative government. The silencing and the fear aspect. We want to become an umbrella for people across the country. The 90% of Welsh citizens who oppose this, and it was forced anyway. We want to give a message to the British establishment that if you think this is going under the carpet and quietly passing through for compulsory teaching in children's education by September, if you think you've seen problems outside schools in Birmingham, you haven't actually seen anything yet. Because, and I'll put the olive branch out to the parents in Birmingham, I think that the British public have to support them. The main problem here is that many parents will not even be aware that drag artists are being brought in to speak to children at school, to read nursery rhyme books, that these books are becoming part of curriculum teachings. The increase going up of over 2,000% each year of gender dysphoria. So, in that, as a father, as a guardian to my children, I will not allow a nanny state to remove my parental rights. And I want to make sure that people join. If you wanted a movement to join, I urge you to join it. I urge real LGBT activists. We've come a long way in protecting gay people's rights. I'd be the first person to speak up for gay people's rights. These videos, this teaching is nothing about gay people's rights. This is about an enforced indoctrination into primary school children. I implore you to join this fight. I implore you to join this movement. The nanny state makes for a terrible educator and an even worse parent. I'd like to thank you all. And again, I'd say we've had some great speakers. I'm proud to be part of a movement that's going to stand up for the citizens who feel silenced. The only way to do it is to spread the word, to join. and to protect a generation of children from what can only be described as cultural Marxism. Thank you.